Jack Della Maddalena's coach had some things to say about the Islam Makhachev matchup that we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about some clips of like what was said in his submission radio interview. He talks about Islam and he talks about how he thinks JDM's going to get it done. And it like kind of makes me smile in a way because I feel like there's some misconceptions from his coach going into this fight. Now, his coach is not delusional, Mac. I don't want you guys to think his coach is as bad as Mornay Visser. Like Mornay, that dude was horrible. Dude, my guy is that guy he was so bad. This coach, like he has more of a head on him, but I do think he's trying his hardest to gaslight himself about the ability of Jack Della Maddalena, as well as gaslight himself that like Islam Makhachev is near the realm of Belal Muhammad. And this is no disrespect to Belal, by the way. Belal's a great fighter. He's just confusing their styles of fighting, He also talks about that we're going to talk about this, what a matchup with Ilia Topuria would be like. And I just think it was so delusional. That was like one of his biggest delusional things. And he also talks about Khamzat and he completely like kind of, I'm not going to say avoids the fight, but you could tell his coach understands that Khamzat would like beat the hell out of him. So he talks about like what would happen if Khamzat goes down to 170, but he kind of just dodges the question. And then lastly, he addresses Tyrone Woodley's comments. If you guys don't know what Tyrone Woodley said, he said that pretty much Jack Della Maddalena, he wouldn't be a champion. He wouldn't even be like, I don't know, ranked or something. He would never be champion in Tyrone Woodley's division, which was kind of an S statement. I'm going to tell you my piece on that at the end of the video, but let's start off with his take with the Islam Makhachev fight, guys. All right. Cause we have a lot to cover in this video. So I'm going to play what he said about like how he thinks the fight goes with Islam. And let me just say, watching the whole interview, he did have a lot of respect for Islam. He's not delusional. He's not trying to disrespect Islam. He's just saying what he thinks his fight is going to do. So let's listen to it together before I start to break down my takeaway and my points of this interview.
I just don't think Islam has the chin that Belal has.
You feel like...
Okay, already I'm just like side-eyeing you. Why would he not have the chin that Belal has? Yeah, because Islam got chinned by Pantoja 14 years. Like, bro, come on. We're going to talk about that, but let him cook. I'm going to let him keep cooking. Maybe he's going to get better. We'll see what he says afterwards.
It's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round. Or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute. It could happen in the 24 minute, 59 seconds. It could happen.
Okay, I'll be real. I got to pause it. What'd you say?
Clip someone clean on the chin. We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen.
I'll be so real, guys. When Jack Della Maddalena clips someone clean on the chin, I don't see one punch JDM knockouts. What I'll give JDM credit for is that he's an accumulative, like over time, his punches start to add up. And it starts to like wilt you, but I don't think his power is necessarily crazy. It's almost as if he's looking at this fight. I'm not saying he's basing it on puncher's chance, but he's trying to insinuate all Jack Della Maddalena needs is one punch. Or like, if he clips you clean, it's over. I don't think so. And the narrative of that, like, Belal Muhammad has a great chin. I'm not saying Belal has a bad chin. I've seen Belal dropped. I've seen Vicente clean him out cold. I've seen Jeff Neal, like, hurt him bad. JDM never had that moment. And there was a point where he was, like, literally teeing off on Belal, but Belal was eating all those shots. I don't think it was... I'm not going to say Belal has a bad chin, but... Have you ever thought that JDM maybe just doesn't have that crazy power you maybe think he has? And even Belal Muhammad, his striking style in general, guys, I want you guys to understand what I'm about to say. Belal Muhammad does not strike like Islam Makhachev. Do you guys actually think Islam Makhachev is going to walk forward with his hands down, just throwing jabs, trying to overwhelm me with volume? Islam's a lot more of a direct, accurate, and like counter puncher than Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad is going to come forward and try to overwhelm me with his presence and output. And hope that you're gonna wilt and break. JDM, I'll give him to like some respect, brother. He's a tough guy. He could take stuff and give it back. Also, Belal doesn't really hit that hard, but I do think JDM has the toughness. He could take shots and give it back. But Islam's not gonna be the type of person just to stand in front of him, and just kind of throw and allow JDM to tee off on him. And even if he does lean on Islam, I just don't think JDM has the power that his coach is trying to gaslight everyone else that he has, because he just doesn't.
Happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute.
Yeah, first minute. Yeah, Shiba. You egghead. Nah, he's a cool guy. I'm not going to egghead. I'm not going to call him egghead. He's a cool guy, but fuck, dude.
Could happen in the 24 minute, 59 seconds. It could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights. He likes to be in there. But obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Belal's reputedly the best like cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Belal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So
True.
you know, Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional. And yeah, I like the fight. I really do.
See, I don't think he's being delusional here. I think what he's saying is pretty true. Like Jack Della Maddalena, he has great endurance. He's tough and he has power. I just don't think he has the power that maybe his coach thinks he has. Oh, that being said, bro, this fight could be interesting if he does develop that like one punch power maybe. But I honestly, like, I feel as if what he thinks about Belal's grappling and wrestling, I just think was stupid. He actually talks about what he felt about Belal's game plan, because some people say Belal wasn't shooting takedowns, which wasn't the case, by the way. But I actually want to play what he said about the Belal Muhammad situation. So this was his take about the Belal Muhammad fight, because the narrative that he thinks that people are trying to push is that Belal Muhammad went in with the game plan of like not trying to wrestle and he didn't shoot enough takedowns. So this is what his response to it, but I'm going to say why I think he has it mixed up. Let me just play what he said.
Going back to what you said about Belal not shooting takedowns, I mean, it's hard to shoot takedowns on someone that's moving and damaging you all the time, every time you close the distance. And
True.
Belal shot a decent amount of takedowns. We had this conversation before, after the fight. Mm-hmm. I don't buy the narrative that Belal didn't try and shoot takedowns. It's very convenient for him to use that narrative when he lost. Oh, yeah, look, I did so good with Jack in the stand-up. But I don't think that's what he wanted to do.
He's absolutely right there, talking about he did Belal kind of talking about how good he did in the stand-up, and that's not really what he wanted to do. But I feel as if this is the truth about the situation. Let me just address this, because I know what Islam's not going to do. When Belal came out in the fight, he immediately gives up the front foot and just starts backing up and looking for his range. When Belal comes in with a wrestling game plan, he walks you down and then he goes straight for the takedowns like he did to Leon Edwards. You know, in Leon Edwards' one fight, he was backing up trying to strike with Leon, and then when he was trying to like do clinch situations, it just wasn't working because he was on the back foot. It didn't work. If you look at the takedowns actually shot early on, like the first round, they were what I call half-ass takedowns. Like the takedowns you shoot and you decommit halfway through, so you're shooting and then you end up like on your all fours, like shooting at nothing. Those aren't real takedowns. The real takedown started being shot later in the fight when JDM was already sweaty. And yes, Belal was getting him down, but JDM was getting right back up. That's what the narrative is. It's not that Belal wasn't shooting takedowns. It was that Belal wasn't shooting his takedowns seriously. His game plan was not to just go in there and wrestle fuck him like it was in Leon 2 fight. His game plan was similar to the Leon 1 fight, where you try to get in there and strike, and then try to find takedowns later on when you're already getting touched up. That doesn't work, and that's why I feel like Islam won't do. Islam's not going to just come forward or try to like strike with you, you know, and then once he's getting beat up, he's going to try to wrestle. Islam's going to put that threat in his head early, and I just want the coach to understand that. So no one's saying Belal wasn't shooting takedowns. That's not the whole narrative. The whole narrative really is that Belal just didn't use his game plan effectively until it was too late. I'll concede in that point. I'll leave it at that. But I also want to talk about what his coach said about Ilya, because I think it's kind of funny and a little bit illogical. Let's just let this clip play about the Ilya matchup. And yes, I know Ilya would be moving up to 170, but listen what his coach says about him.
Got Ilya Topuria, the lightweight champ. He's been trying to get up to well.
Look at his face. I like this coach, you know, a little bit bald head, you know, strong features. I like this guy.
Wants to go up to
he looks like a generic face. Like, you just like generic. That's what I think of this guy, bro.
Welterweight, fight for that belt as well. What's your reaction? Like, he wants one more title defense, then he wants to basically move up and fight at welterweight. What would your reaction be if he was one of the next guys for you?
He's my height, and I'm a midget. He needs to stay where he is. It would be a very bad decision for him to come up and fight Jack. They're the same fighter, essentially. He's just a midget and Jack's a bit bigger. You know, they do a lot of the same things very well.
This was what I call a cowabunga take, bro. This was such an NPC take. They're the same fighter, dude. Ilya Topuria and JDM, they're the same fighter, man. You know, cowabunga. Dude, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he does this shit on his free time and nods his head and goes to mosh pits. Bro, what does he mean? They're the same fighter. I see what he's trying to do. They're both boxers with good grappling. First of all, this is not even a hot take, and I know people might be like, nah, dude, you're tripping. Ilya's grappling is so much better than Jack Della Maddalena's, in my opinion. You know, Ilya Topuria, his defense against someone like Charles Oliveira, was a bigger, longer guy who could definitely make 170 very comfortably, keep in mind. You know, him submitting Bryce Mitchell, who's a pretty sound grappler, you know, he's better at grappling there. Also, the speed difference between the two of these guys are disgusting. Like not even comparable. And let me tell you something. I know, like I said earlier in the video, his coach thinks JDM has one punch power, which is probably why he thinks it the same. Ilya has one punch power. Ilya will hit you with something and you'll go to sleep. Maybe a little bit the nap time, maybe NyQuil, you know, maybe a little bit you're stretching, you're tired. That's the difference between them two. So you can't really there's one person literally has the power you think your fighter has. And then Jack Della Maddalena has volume power. Like over time, you accumulate and then you'll break you. That's Jack Della Maddalena's power. That's not the same as Ilia Topuria. When he touches you, go to sleep. So you're wrong about that. And the whole he's too small for Jack Della Maddalena. That's all phony. That's all BS. Jack Della Maddalena has close like striking matches with Kevin Holland. You know, close striking matches with fucking Basso Chavez. Kevin Holland can fight Ilia Topuria at 170. That would be mama. That's how I'm gonna say. Like that fight would not be booked. Like it wouldn't be legalized for like footage to be watched. This might be a hot take. I think Ilia Topuria loses to Jack. I think Ilia Topuria beats Jack Della Maddalena going up to 170. Call me crazy. I think that's the case. You know, I think it would be a harder fight if he goes up to 170 and fights Islam, who's a little bit more well rounded, but. Jack Della Maddalena is just not the guy his coach thinks he is, you know. I don't know why his coach is gaslit on the power. Like, he must be seeing something I'm not.
And I love Ilya. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch because I think he fights like Jack, you know.
I don't know why. I don't like this comparison, you know. Jack just doesn't have that finishing. Whatever, bro. Maybe I'm tripping, dude. Maybe I'm the one tripping. You know, like maybe I'm the one tripping. I don't know. I disagree with the fact that they fight anything alike. Matter of fact, if I had to compare their styles, the only thing they do similar is they kind of like. They do combos. They chain together their combos. But the way Ilya chains his combos, like his last punch is to kill. I feel like Jack Della Maddalena chains it to make it look pretty. Like, you know, he chains it just so he can finish the sequence. Ilia Topuria is so much different, and like the speed is just not even comparable.
They're very similar. So, but I don't think he has any business jumping up 2 weight classes and fighting Jack. But that's up to him. If he wants to do that, fair play to him. I respect it. You know, and I think Ilya's going to be at a point like Islam soon where he can do whatever he wants because he's unstoppable.
Fair enough. He gives him respect. And I'm going to say this is my last hot take of the fucking, like, the situation. I think Ilia Topuria is naturally a 155er. So him going up to 170 is like him going up in weight in the first time. I really just believe him at 145 was a depleted version of himself. Like not a 100% version of himself. 155 is his weight. Now if he goes up to 170, it's just him like being a 155 and going up to 170. Could be a hot take, but the way he looked at 155, I think looked a lot better than anything I've seen in 145. You know, speed, strength, you know, maybe a little bit more handsome. This is my opinion, brother. This is what I think. All right. Now we're going to go on to what his take was about Khamzat Chimaev, because he really didn't want to answer this question. You guys know how when coaches know their fighter will lose, he'll be like, yeah. But I'll be real, everything you're saying was facts, but we're going to get into why I think he knows that he would not want to be in the octagon with the Khamzat Chimaev or like watch his fighter fight a Khamzat.
Fight down the line against Jack. That's a pretty.
I think he needs.
They're talking about Khamzat, of course.
I think he needs to do his work in the middleweight division as Jack needs to do in the welterweight division. You know, the welterweight division, there's so many good contenders in there who deserve a shot. Like,
he's right.
Islam, no one can fault Islam and no one can take anything away from Islam because he's done everything that's been asked of him at every level. You know, short notice fights, change of opponents. He deserves the shot. He's a legend. He deserves the shot. He deserves to come up a weight class, jump straight into the title fight.
Facts.
But that leaves Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know, in a very sad situation. He's the one that deserved the shot against Belal first. And he hasn't got that shot yet. Jack's wanted to fight Shavkat since before the UFC.
I'm not trying to say he's bad for this take, but I feel like Shavkat's he hasn't been fighting at all. I think his last win was I'm pretty sure it was Ian Gary. And even the way he fought Ian Gary, like he just looked like he was just there to like not lose. And he almost got like it wasn't the best place to end off on. And he lost the entertainment value as well. I feel like he was getting a lot of hype when he was 17-0 with 17 finishes, you know, or 16 or whatever. And then like he kind of like went against a Wonder Boy, kind of clinched him the whole fight, then secured the choke, and then went against Gary and fell off. And then since then he hasn't fought. So I understand that maybe he thinks Shavkat is more deserving of Khamzat, but it might be a hot take. I would argue Khamzat's activity would make him more deserving than Shavkat. I don't know. It could be a hot take. I don't know.
So I would like that fight. And then, you know, we've got Sean Brady, Ian Gary, like all these people.
Yeah, he's right, though.
They're good fighters in Jack's division that have earned their way to the top of that division. So those fights interest me because we want to clear out the welterweight division. Khamzat's proved that. I don't believe Khamzat can make welterweight. You know, he's
I honestly, guys, this is probably another hot take by me. Fuck, man, I'm talking a lot of hot takes. Listen, I think Khamzat, he looks big at 185, guys, but I really think he looks lean. Like he doesn't look. I'm not gonna say skinny because that's a wrong word. He looks lean. even him next to Drickus, I was like, okay, Drickus visually, just via eye test, he looks a little bit thicker, you know, a little bit more the wide guy. But Khamzat, like, he looks a little bit thinner from that division, and he's still strong. It might be a hot take, but give him a couple months. I think he get down to 170 if he really wanted to, especially if a matchups like JDM, who he knows he can school. Absolutely.
Proved that with the last time he tried to fight well, he missed by 8 kilos. So taking a fight with Khamzat has
8 pounds, yes.
a lot of inherent risk, just because he might not make the weight, and then it's not fair. So, yeah, Jack would love to fight Khamzat as well, but I think there's
Woody.
more prominent people who are in line who fight more regularly and deserve the shot more than Khamzat does.
That's not even him ducking the question. This is where this is the part I think he ducks the question, because that pretty much the question before that was like, what do you think about Khamzat saying he wants to go down and fight JDM? And then like he kind of just said it shouldn't happen. And then look what this guy asked, and look at the answer from the coach.
We saw that domination of Drickus du Plessis, absolutely shocking. What would a fight even look like between Jack and Khamzat in your opinion?
What's the fight gonna look like?
Well, Drickus must feel a bit silly saying, who needs footwork? I'm just going to walk straight forward. I mean, that's a stupid comment, right? And he did that, and look what happened to him. He got taken down at will whenever Khamzat wanted to. So I don't think you can read too much into the fight. Like, I think Drickus unfortunately played into the hands of Khamzat's game plan. I think he was relying on Khamzat getting tired, but you've got to do something to someone to make him tired. Like, Khamzat could do that for 4 days, I reckon. Like, that's his game. That's his bread and butter. So how do I see Jack and Khamzat go? Did you see Jack and Khamzat and Gilbert? You know, that's the sort of the thing I take is if you can stuff the takedowns, hit him on the chin and get him tired, then he could be put away, you know. So I believe Jack can put anyone away.
Here's where he's wrong, and I'm going to tell you guys why he's wrong. He said, did you see Gilbert and Khamzat? If you can stuff the takedowns and put it on his chin, and then you can put him away. First of all, this coach didn't do his research, or he must have not known. Khamzat was ragdolling the fuck out of Gilbert Burns. He actually let Gilbert Burns up because he respected the guard game of a BJJ practitioner like Gilbert Burns. Since then, you could tell Khamzat doesn't care about your grappling or your wrestling background. He's gonna wrestle you, because after that, he went against like a Kamaru Usman and Robert Whittaker, who had great takedown defense, great defensive wrestling and grappling, but he still attacked him the same way. You know, even Drickus du Plessis, black belt. Oh, he's so scary, man. You know, so Khamzat's not doing that anymore. And but JDM's a better BJJ guy than Gilbert Burns, Kenny. That's what my comments are going to say right now. The truth of the matter is he's trying to act like, since Gilbert Burns stuffed his takedowns. Gilbert Burns, I don't even think he stuffed a single takedown. Like, every takedown Khamzat wanted, he took him down. He just got up every time. You know, I think his coach understands that if they fought, Khamzat's going to play with him. Like, maybe tickle his feet, you know, maybe massage shoulders as he smish face. He finishes JDM 100% because JDM's going to be more likely to try to force a scramble, unlike Drickus, who was trying to just defend chokes. The second Gilbert Burns, JDM goes for a scramble, he gets Darce choked 100%.
Khamzat, DDP, all of those guys. But at the moment,
what?
Can put anyone away. He could be put away, you know. So I believe Jack can put anyone away. Khamzat, DDP, all of those guys. But at the moment, we are...
Here we go with the one-punch power. Dude, Jack Della he can one-punch DDP, Khamzat, Islam did, Elite Topuria. Bro, JDM does not have one-punch power. Fuck, bro. He doesn't have one-punch. I hate this narrative, you know.
We are concentrating on the welterweight division. We are concentrating on Islam Makhachev. He's the only name that matters to us right now.
Sure, buddy. All right. Last thing I actually want to look at is what his coach said about, because I think he should have addressed this point, because this point was pretty funny. Tyrone Woodley's take on pretty much JDM wouldn't be champion in his era.
Hey, I was going to quickly say, speaking of former champions, because you're not online, so you probably wouldn't have seen this, but Tyrone Woodley, man, he had a bit to say about Jack.
I know, I did see it.
Did you see that? He basically didn't said all this stuff, but for those that missed it, that Jack basically wouldn't be the champion if this was his era.
If I would have...
You know, dare I say this wasn't a horrible take. Carlos Condit might even give JDM a run for his money. You know, Tyrone Woodley, you can get him. Prime Tyrone could get him, you know. Dude, Robbie Lawler Prime, I don't know, man. I think JDM could be like a Rory McDonald. Like, he'll give a war. He'll be tough and dirty, you know. I don't know, man. The take's not as bad as people make it out to be. I don't think it's the best take ever. Can he beat like a Prime Woodley? Maybe. Depends on the day. But it's not a horrible take. I just want people to know that it's not a horrible take.
been on social media, I'd have just posted a video of Jake Paul knocking him out and told him to shut the fuck up. Woodley's an idiot.
All right, man. Well, as we wrap up, so what's the plan?
That was funny. No, I just wanted to play that part. But yeah, there you have it, man. I'll be real. This coach, he seems a lot more level-headed than Mornay Weiser, you know, who thinks everything's going to be roses and bubbles for his guy Drickus. He has more of a head on him, but I do think he's a little bit delusional with JDM's one-punch power, dude. Like, JDM's going to one-punch this guy. Brother, this guy, Paulo no dale. I think you're overestimating it. JDM's definitely going to be a tough fight for Islam in some aspects, but not the aspect you're probably thinking. I really don't buy this one-punch narrative, and I never will, and I have no reason to. And so unless someone can convince me, pull up evidence of him just one-punching everyone, I'm not believing it. But let me know what you guys think down below. That's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.